What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. I'm gonna try to make this as quick as possible. I do have to leave for skiing in a bit, so I'm gonna just go over the trade that we took today, the potential trade that we were gonna take yesterday, and that was gonna merge into today, and why that didn't work out, and the mistake I made. So first of all, let's just look at the trade that I was gonna make, right? Which I'll pull up right here. This is the chart that I had from yesterday. So this is my analysis from yesterday and not this morning. So this is yesterday, right? We noticed that on Wednesday, right? On Wednesday, we had that huge, absolute huge dump. No one was really expecting it. We did notice that that dump came after a liquidity sweep of a daily fair value gap, almost at the all-time high. So we do notice that. This dump created a range with a premium and a discount zone with a market structure shift, which we have noticed. And the mistake I think I made was that I made this market structure shift on the 15-minute. And I drew the standard deviation, which lined up with most levels. And I even called it out in the Discord that price would hit like 4666.0 today, which obviously it didn't. As you probably traded today, it actually went higher, and I believe I know why. So the main factor for this is, well, obviously, yeah. So we drew the discount, the standard deviation. We had some fair value gaps, sell side liquidity down there, and I looked in the zone where the OT might be affected, and there was an OT fair value gap, or like just a normal 15-minute fair value gap right here that was sitting right above OT. So I was like, maybe price wants to shoot into it, maybe reach consequent encroachment and then come down. I would see that happening, and that's what I waited for. Okay. Now, that I think is the mistake, because what happened was, as you can see, price here shot up. So, okay, so this is pre-market, right? This is the OT is like right above here. It kind of comes down. This is what you like to see. That means that price isn't going to shoot up straight to it, and it's nice. It comes down, right? And you can see that this is the daily open. So we open the day here, and then it kind of comes lower, which we can see that wick be formed. And then it just kind of comes up. So 7. And then we do notice, okay, there is news at 8:30. Now, this news is important because it's bullish. It's bullish news. So I didn't look at news. I didn't know there was news. And that's a mistake that I made. I didn't even look at news. So at 8:30, we see this huge candle. I was like, okay, well, maybe this is not normal. Like, I was in my bed. I was watching this in my bed. I was like, it doesn't seem too normal. It's right at the consequent encroachment of this daily fair value gap that we're currently trading in. It's absolutely bullish. It came down and just shot straight up, and this, I'm pretty sure, was right in the middle of the it went actually like way beyond the OT level. It went past the OT fair value gap all the way to those highs. So I was like, okay, well, something's wrong. So I draw the order block that is here on the 1 hour, and I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really see any opportunities here. I was just like, well, this range right here, I was kind of just waiting. And then I looked back at Forex, and I saw that at 10 a.m. we had news again. This was actually bearish. So it created this bearish candle here. Now, I was on the 5-minute here. Actually, I was trading on the 1 minute. I'm not gonna lie, this whole time. But we do open, where's the 9:30? We open over here. 9:30 still bullish, right? Extremely bullish. I do notice that little 1 minute fair value gap that was created. Extremely bullish, draw the order block, it gets rejected. And then we have bearish news, which creates bearish order flow. Now, I made a huge mistake here because I was trying to utilize my strategy because I saw it. I was like, oh my God, this, actually, I'm going to delete it just so you can see what I was thinking. Here's what I saw, okay? What I saw at first was this, okay? We had this little choppiness here. Okay, obviously it doesn't quite hit the order block. Do notice this, it gets close to it, but it doesn't fully hit it. And right under it, we hit high day. Okay, that's the high day. And we open down here. Choppiness, and then it comes crushing down at like 10. Okay, boom. Bearish news at 10. Now, in my mind, you see these equal lows. Where's the nearest swing low that you see? It's this one. So I was like, oh, 1 hour. Or on the 5-minute, there's a market structure shift right here. Let me look on the 15-minute. Oh, market structure shift. Oh, not really though, is it? It's not really a market structure shift. Let's look on the 1 hour. Nothing even happens on the 1 hour. So the only time that it's marked is on the 5-minute. So I'm like, well, if this is gonna be a 5-minute trade, fine, it's gotta be nice and short. So what I do, I draw my standard deviation just to see if the levels are accurate. So the swing high that created the down move is this, and the swing low of this. Standard deviation. Okay. Now what do we get? Now these levels, as you can see, when I saw this, I was like, well, this is almost perfect. The negative 2.5 lines up with the open, and the negative 4 lines up almost perfectly to the low of the day. So this is literally like, I was thinking in my head, this is perfect. I can short this and we can aim to the negative 4 and I can be good, right? What I didn't realize, or actually, no, let me go back. Yeah, so I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be perfect. And then I drew my OTE, right, as you saw. And then I was waiting for a swing low here because this was still alive. So this candle came down, it came down lower, and it got rejected here. I was like, oh, perfect, it's gonna create a swing high. So boom, there's a swing low, my bad. So I draw this. I'm like, let me get my OTE, boom, and there's my OTE. So I draw it out. I'm like, perfect, perfect, perfect. This is what it's gonna be. And so what do? I wait for price to come back. Price does come back. I'm like, this is perfect. This is my strategy. It's working out. And I was waiting for something to hit the golden zone. And I realized maybe I should be looking at PD arrays that are inside the golden zone. On the 5-minute, there's nothing. On the 1-minute, you'll notice that there's also nothing. And I was just like, okay, well, there's nothing that price can react off of except like this 1-minute order block here. But it's not really near the golden zone, but you know, whatever. So I marked that out. Okay, you mark this out. I was like, okay, that worked. They hit the consequent encroachment, right? It's not quite at the golden zone. It's not quite where I wanted it. So I kind of let it run. It ran. And then on 1-minute, this is where I traded everything, which is probably where my mistake. I don't like to trade the 1-minute, but it did show a lot of fair value gaps and a lot of trading opportunities. Creates its fair value gap, creates its order block, and I was like, okay, well, price came down, chopped right through this inversion fair value gap, because as you notice, there's a fair value gap that gets created here and gets traded right through for inversion. Boom, taps in, boom, 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 boom. I'm in no trade here, boom, boom, boom. Kind of comes up. I'm waiting for an entry here. So my entry would be off the consequent encroachment here, targeting whatever's down here, for example, right? That was going to be my entry. And that's the trade I took, right? And I had take profit 1, but you know, it just came back to break even, and it was not a good trade. All right, so let's talk. What was the bigger picture? The bigger picture was that there was a 1 hour fair value gap, bullish fair value gap, that was actually in the way of all this. Hence why I created this move up. And this little move down was only a little fake play. When you go to the 1 hour and you do your analysis correctly, you would notice that in this huge bullish news that we get at 8:30, we create this huge displacement from pre-market 7 a.m. to 8:30 news to then 9:30 opening. We have this 3 nice leg candle with this nice fair value gap that is created here. Okay, I'm gonna mark it in blue so you guys can see. There you go. Is it blue? I don't know why it's like that. Or whatever. So that's the fair value gap that gets created. Okay. And as you can see on the 1 hour, it's clear what price was doing. We got bearish news at 10, and then it came down, hits this fair value gap. It shows us this fair value gap is very, very strong, and price does not want to trade all the way down to the consequent encroachment. If price came down even a lower over here, then I know that price wanted to fully take it out and it didn't have the power, so it would do it in the next few hours. But here it went out not even so deep. It barely touched. I mean, it went in, but traded. It got bought all the way back up and opened here. That to me tells me that is extremely bullish, and this fair value gap or this price action right now has nothing to do with this fair value gap. It does not want to trade it, does not want to come into it, does not want to break it, does not want to do anything with it. It wants to get the fuck out of there, right? That was my mistake. I did not notice that. So when I'm on the lower time frame and I'm looking to go short, right, I was like all in on shorts on this little down move, right, because I think it was going to break these. And then in 1 minute, there's these bunch of there's a order block here, there's a low here. You know, it gets tested perfectly there, but this is all nothing because this is all in the fair value gap, and this helps with the fair value gap. Don't get me wrong. And then what does price do? Well, for the rest of the day, it's just going to keep going up, right? Now, I don't think it's going to take out the high day, but it's definitely going to close higher than the open. I was expecting for a bearish day. You could have definitely like gone in here. I'm trying to think right now, like I'm on the 5 minute. Let's just go on like the 15, for example. I'm trying to think because this really wasn't like a full market structure shift because I did mark this down here, right? Market structure shift M15, so 15 minutes. I saw this swing low and I was like, well, I think that if we close under this, this would be a valid for a 15 market structure shift. That would be valid. It would be a big, nice move. That would be nice. But look what happens. And look, I was just oblivious. It didn't close. I marked it because I was like, if it closes, then it's valid. But I knew damn well this was not valid. Let me remove this for a second. It didn't move. It didn't close under. It definitely came under, but this was the fair value gap. It didn't close under. It got bought all the way. And then it got close to coming in here, but it didn't close under. So that tells me there's a failed market structure shift to the downside. It's failed to go bearish. It has failed to go lower. And there's a bullish fair value gap that has been touched. And there is bullish buy side liquidity that has been grabbed on the 1 minute with internal buy side has been grabbed. So that's basically I'm going to say 3 PD arrays that are indicating bullish price action in that moment. The only reason I didn't take a trade off the bullish momentum was that I realized that a bit too late. I was already in my trade here, and the moment I got out was like down here, up here. So the move, the primary move has already gone up all the way for me to even take a trade. If I was long here, I'd be losing money at this point. And the reason why I was doing this is because it's basically the end of the day now. It's Friday, right? So thank God it's Friday for real. So price just wants to end. Listen, mistakes happen like this, and I think the biggest mistake was trying to incorporate my strategy, not even on here, but on the 1 hour and all that, off this huge display. Like, it makes sense, all this huge displacement having the retracement, but I think the mistake that I made was not looking at news and not responding to news, because what really drove the market up a little bit today was the news placement, right? We went down to grab that fair value gap that was created by news to replace price. And what it really wanted to do was just go higher and not lower. And my thoughts was that it went lower because, you know, it fully swept the OT, entered this order block, made high day. I just knew it was going to lower. A standard deviation here lined up perfectly. A standard deviation here lined up perfectly. I guess another mistake is that thinking that there would be another huge dump like this out of nowhere right here because of this OT. That's also a pretty big mistake that I can make. But you know, like I said, thank God it's Friday. I can go back, watch these videos again, watch my analysis, and kind of revise from there. Learn from a mistake. I think that's the biggest thing. You know, I think the biggest mistake here is not learning from a mistake. That's huge. I will agree, looking at like just the 1 hour, maybe even the 4 hour, we can realize that this day was just very choppy, just very back and forth, you know, up, down, and just can't reach anything. Like here, this is a nice trend day. But every day's different, you know. It's Friday. No one wants to move, no one wants to buy, and yeah, let's just hope that Monday. Actually, no, Monday's closed because of Christmas. So let's hope that Christmas week. I might be away actually, so I don't know if I can trade, but I'll see you guys soon whenever I post another video, and I'll see you guys. Yeah, Merry Christmas.